Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Say hello to Digi TV. Step into the world of digital entertainment. Digi TV gives you access to 100+ channels on your TV or your mobile device at unbeatable prices. Take your shows with you wherever you go. It's a new level of freedom. Enjoy your favorite entertainment, sports, family, Latin, and local channels. No more fighting for the TV remote. You can access whenever you want from 2 devices at the same time. Digi TV is for everyone. And with the fastest fiber and mobile networks in the country, you are guaranteed to have the best experience ever. There's no installation required. Sign up for the Max package for only $40 monthly and get the first 2 months for just $30. For a limited time, get 50% off a Fire Stick when you sign up. Download the Digi TV app from the Android or Apple stores. Just WhatsApp us at 608-8888 to sign up. It's that easy. Watch, experience, enjoy Digi TV today.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent, free and independent to be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent. We're changing our country, we're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, September 30th. I am Annalena Colonio. There was a murder on Thursday night in Belize City. 27-year-old Kevin Gillett and 42-year-old Glenford Soberanis were with a group of men near the corners of Alrington Drive and Mackenzie Lane when a gunman approached them and opened fire. Soberanis was hit on the right ankle while Gillett received multiple gunshot wounds to the body. Those injuries led to Gillett's unfortunate demise. His family believes it is a case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time because Gillett left home moments earlier to make a purchase and was planning to return immediately after. News 5's Paul Lopez visited the area this morning. He filed the following report.
A lone gunman opened fire on a group of men just after 8 p.m. at the corner of Alrington Drive and Mackenzie Lane in Belize City. The shooter was reportedly wearing a red t-shirt when he emerged from a nearby property and fired multiple gunshots, hitting 27-year-old Kevin Gillett and 42-year-old Glenford Soberanis. Gillett died while undergoing surgery. Soberanis was treated and released. We spoke with Gillett's cousin, Floret Rukenia. Rukenia and Gillett grew up together after Gillett's mother moved to the U.S.
If family members said that I stayed some baby and he just raised up the Belize where I am, so he made the attack to my grandmom and she passed away, so they are waiting to come and last. Remember Kevin as a baby, teenager, 14, 15, he like fish. He like the riverside, bang school and go fishing with the friends there. And he'll go home after that. While growing up, yeah, he like that, but he don't care, he done fishing. And the next thing, while growing up, he was a hustler, no lie. We do one too bad thing, but he don't know murderer, he not deal with no gun, as far as I know.
According to Rukenia, Gillett spent most of his time at home with his common-law wife. On the night of his murder, he had reportedly left home to make a purchase nearby.
They mostly with the family members, in the yard, play field and so forth, but friends, no. But at the time when the shooting occurred, according to people and the common law, it just can't buy a piece of fun to and, you know, that the way he get shot. Never have no kind of conflict with nobody wrongly as far as I get the understanding and as far as I know. According to sources that the wrong place at the wrong time, then we want somebody and the shooting catch him.
Gillett's murder has left his family in disbelief. No one could have imagined that he would die at this age in such a manner.
Rough. It's surprising because I picture him to die that way, you know, end up that way there. Especially as somebody way wrongfully, you know, and like we could see this type of and all we want to say that justice. That's all we need value justice in this because I understand here they pick up the person and they let them go.
According to police, the gunman fled the scene in a waiting vehicle. There have been no official reports of anyone being detained for Gillett's murder. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Late this evening, notorious street figure Kenneth Big Tom Flowers was reportedly shot near Police Street. Reports are that he had just exited the Mahogany Street police station when he was targeted by a gunman. News 5 understands that the bullet grazed his foot. Another man was shot dead shortly before 4:30 this evening in Belize City. He is 36-year-old Jarrett Crawford. Crawford was apparently inside his house when someone ambushed him and shot him. Scenes of crime personnel are processing the scene. This evening, a tearful Shakira Torres told reporters that the family was trying to call her deceased cousin today but got no answer.
Our close family friend called and said her daughter just come over and said that they just killed our cousin and then lay down in the yard. So we just raced over, but we made a try reach her all day and we couldn't get one hold on her. But after talking to one of her aunt, she said she just say on this evening and if me got a shop for she. So she did say, can't be here when we come, that we couldn't get one whole out there. So yeah, when we come over here, and I got look that he for true.
As far as family knows, did he have any dispute with anyone?
No, he the home, he work, hustle, and that take care of his son. He always date his son. I shocked and glad that his son never date on today, because he always date his son. He lives here for so much years. When I go to high school, he lived back here in my swamp. And it developed now. He always live here.
He never used to give trouble at all?
Well, I passed when I was younger, yes, for robbery, but that's about it.
You've seen the murder scene, the crime scene. What do you pick up from it? That he was at home?
Yes, well, it looked to me like somebody here because he ain't known boxers and a towel over a shoulder, I think, and a phone in his hand. So that like somebody just come here, like come outside.
In an update to the triple fatality on Tuesday that claimed the lives of 3 men, police have formally arrested and charged Joel Dices for 3 counts of manslaughter by negligence and 3 counts of causing death by careless conduct. He was also slapped with a slew of traffic offenses, including drove motor vehicle without due care and attention and failure to keep to the extreme right hand of the road. Dices was arraigned before Magistrate Tricia Pitts Anderson on Thursday afternoon. He was given bail of $10,000 plus 2 sureties of the same amount. He is to reappear in court on December 28, 2022. Dices, a 21-year-old Guinea Grass resident, was the driver of a Silva's bus that collided head-on with an Isuzu D-Max pickup truck on the morning of September 27th on the Philip Goulson Highway in Sandhill Village. All 3 persons who were traveling in the pickup, James Dawson, Brandon Gillett, and Eustace Dawson Jr., perished in the RTA. Coming up, meet the 2022 Ocean Heroes. Details when we return.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, Then Pilate called Jesus and said unto him, Art thou the King of the Jews? Jesus answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? Throughout my travels, I have found in every home old Bibles, pianos, organs, clocks, antique furniture, and other treasures that have been handed down from one generation to the next. But there's one thing you cannot get to heaven with, and that is a hand-me-down religion. As one old deacon used to say, you can't get to heaven on your mother's apron strings or your father's coat tail. Jesus must personally be embraced. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist denomination, discovered that being a Christian involved a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. He had always thought that he was a true Christian until one day on a ship caught in a storm on the Atlantic Ocean, fear got a hold of him. He noticed the only people on board who was not fear-stricken were a group of Moravian missionaries. Later, when the storm was abated, he asked one of them, Were you not afraid? Afraid, said the Moravian. Why should I be afraid? I know Christ. And then looking at Wesley with disconcerting frankness asked, Do you know Christ? John Wesley for the first time realized that he did not, and there on that ship gave his life to Christ. You say that you are a Christian, but I ask you the question that Jesus asked Pilate, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? You can't get to heaven, friend, on a hand-me-down religion. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, It means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The 2022 Ocean Heroes Award ceremony was held virtually on Thursday night. And in its tradition of honoring those who have been serving as champions in marine conservation, advocacy, and education, Oceana Belize welcomes 2 other heroes to its list of protectors. Those Ocean Hero awardees are Doctors Rachel Graham and Leandra Cho Ricketts. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It's been over a decade since Oceana Belize has been identifying and shining a light on individuals who have been going above and beyond to assist with the protection of our marine environment in some way or the other.
We will honor women and men who are showing us every day that the change and progress in ocean conservation, advocacy, and education is within our reach. The awards recognize men and women from the fields of policy, science, education, entrepreneurship, and civil society, whose initiatives have left a positive and lasting impact on the marine environment.
Communications Director Alyssa Kanegi says that every sector and age group can provide the leadership and vision needed to bring about transformative change, like former awardees such as Jamal Galvez, Guadalupe Lampella, Michael Hushner, Will Mahia, and Madison Edwards. The 2022 Ocean Heroes have helped with the resiliency of the environment.
While Belize might be small, there are giants walking among us. Men and women who are standing up and speaking out so that the integrity of our natural resources guarantees the quality of our lives. The Belizeans we've been honored to recognize as Ocean Heroes are testament to the fact that when the odds are against us, that is when our resilience rises. That is when we are our strongest. That is when the hope we dare to grasp with both hands drives us forward.
This year's heroes are described as frontliners behind the scene as they provide invaluable information and data for the survival of Belize's waters. 2022 Ocean Hero Dr. Rachel Graham has worked with fishers and partners in several countries to identify threats, research needs, and conservation opportunities for threatened marine life. Data on whale shark and shark conservation in Belize came from data collected from Dr. Graham.
If you had a straight line, that would not be my life or my journey. Mine started with a passion for marginalized animals when I was 3 or 4 years old. And I loved sharks all the way back then, and bats and snakes, and I've worked with all of them. And it took a few amazing encounters, especially with sharks, to kind of get me on the track that I am today.
Her work is across the globe, actually. She doesn't only work in Belize, she works across the globe, working towards shark and megafauna conservation.
Much of the work that we know of Dr. Graham achieving over the years has been predominantly on behalf of Belize and its marine ecosystems, and again, the people that depend on it, specifically Belizeans.
Dr. Leandra Cho Ricketts was also tapped as a 2022 Ocean Hero. She has, for almost 2 decades, been working to advance marine conservation science, management, and strategic planning nationally.
Dr. Ricketts has given much of her life to the marine resources. She has studied it at the highest level to a PhD, marine biology. And she has worked in various capacities, not only at the National University, the University of Belize, but in other aspects in the country, looking at the marine resources as well.
Over the last 15 years, we worked together both as faculty members at the University of Belize and then co-creators and founders of the University of Belize Environmental Research Institute. And I feel really fortunate because I think that unlike most people in leadership positions, I never felt alone because she was my real partner. We were able to celebrate wins together, we were able to co-create, we were able to find solutions to challenges together.
I was always interested in the sea, especially coral reefs. I remember the first time I saw a video about coral reefs.
I, imagined myself being there working in the water. And it wasn't until I hit university that I actually got to see a coral reef. So, it's late in my life that I got in touch with all that. But from I jumped in the water, started snorkeling, I knew that this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Congratulations to the 2022 Ocean Heroes. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Belize Telemedia Limited hosted its 16th annual general meeting this morning. The AGM, held virtually by means of Microsoft Teams, was used to announce the company's profits over the past fiscal year. BTL reported a profit of $16 million after expenses during the financial period 2021-2022. According to Chairman Mark Lizarraga, the telecoms provider performed exceptionally well over the past 12 months, with earnings per share increasing fourfold when compared to the previous fiscal year.
And I'm extremely pleased to report to you today that BTL has had a solid financial year, 2021-2022. BTL performed exceptionally well, despite all the challenges we've had locally and globally, and despite all the challenging economic times and conditions. Our consolidated revenues were $141.3 million, providing a significant improvement in the company's net income, bringing it to $16.1 million for this fiscal year just passed. This $16.1 million profit for BTL, ladies and gentlemen, represents a $10.7 million or 197% increase from the previous year's figure of $5.4 million. As a result of this performance, the level of earnings per share has quadrupled to 29 cents from 7 cents the previous fiscal year. Our return on equity was 8.6%, or 80% improved as compared to the previous year. As a result of the improved financial performance, we are happy to announce that dividends per share will be doubled compared to the previous year.
In breaking down the company's financial performance, Chief Executive Officer Ivan Tesacum acknowledged that there is a growing shift away from established services, such as the use of a regular line to place phone calls. More customers are using internet-based services for making phone calls, as well as streaming online content. On the other hand, the introduction of BTL's Digi Wallet is expected to grow the company's revenues.
We need to grow our revenues. The assets that we have built that go back to 2016, when we were the first to launch the LTE advanced network in this region, to then the fiber to the home covering over 90% and being the only fiber to the home provider in the country of Belize, requires us to continue to grow those revenues via monetizing that investment. 4, we need to increase EBITDA, or operational cash flow. And this is necessary for us to be able to be as efficient as possible, able to increase our earnings to our shareholders, and importantly, continue to use that cash flow for us to make capital investments. 5, we do know that our core telecom revenues are being attacked from every angle. More than likely, you receive calls via WhatsApp more than what you see on your regular lines. Or you watch TV over OTT more than over regular TV or cable TV. So the 5th one is that we need to diversify revenues from our core telecom. And we need to expand into these non-core telecom. And we're happy to announce that one of those important achievements was Digi Wallet, which will help us to grow our revenues. And secondly, in this new fiscal year that we have now entered, we are happy to announce that we are also a content provider.
CEO Jose Urbina, a member of BTL's board of directors, himself a telecommunications expert, spoke about the future of the service provider in the context of embracing greater digitization in the future.
This AGM is a highly significant gathering for BTL, as it provides an important opportunity for you to receive and consider the Board of Directors Report 2022 on the audited financial statements for the period April 2021 to March 2022. It is especially important as well as we will witness how the company has rebounded to deliver strong financial results. This reporting period presents a unique moment, a period of possibility to start things anew and in different ways. BTL has put its ideation to work, and we have gone beyond our traditional telecoms offerings and made it a historic shift for greater digitization of the company and by extension, Belize. The board remains resolute to continue to transform BTL to Belize's leading digital telco. We want to continue aligning ourselves with our vision to meet the needs of our customers and transform into a digital company.
After the break, low turnout in Belize City and San Pedro for minimum wage public consultations. We'll have that and more when we come back.
Good evening. From the National Meteorological Service with your weather report and forecast for tonight, Friday, September 30, I am Ronald Gordon. Weather conditions were mainly fair over most of the country during the past 24 hours with very limited rainfall activity. Our latest radar imagery shows mostly clear conditions across most of the country, except for a few light showers here or there. In terms of what we can expect for tonight, conditions will continue clear to partly cloudy over most areas of the country. Your early morning temperatures will dip to about 70 Fahrenheit in Orange Walk and Corozal, and also out west in San Ignacio. Along coastal areas, you may see temperatures in about 76 Fahrenheit in San Pedro, 75 in Belize City, Dangriga, and about 74 further south in Placencia and Punta Gorda. In terms of our weather for tomorrow, we are expecting another sunny day with very limited shower activity. However, during the early morning, you may see some fog developing over inland areas and also across areas such as the Belize River Valley. We do caution motorists that if you are driving in fog, to be extra careful due to poor visibility. In terms of our highs for tomorrow, we're expecting highs of about 90 Fahrenheit in Orange Walk, 90 in the nation's capital, and about 90 out west in San Ignacio. If you're along coastal areas such as San Pedro, Belize City, Dangriga, and Punta Gorda, you will see your highs at about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. For the next 4 days, we expect mostly sunny conditions on Saturday and Sunday, so if you're planning any outdoor activity, you certainly will be able to enjoy those. However, late on Sunday, we're expecting a slight increase in rainfall, especially along coastal areas, followed by Monday and Tuesday, where we expect a further increase in showery activity across the country. In terms of our tropical weather conditions, Hurricane Ian made another landfall over South Carolina today after having devastated portions of Florida on Wednesday. Meanwhile, over the Gulf of Mexico and the Northwest Caribbean Sea, conditions are mostly quiet, except for this band of showers and thunderstorms extending from portions of Cuba, Jamaica, down into Honduras and Nicaragua. This is associated with an area of low pressure. Further to the east, across the central and eastern Caribbean Sea, you can see scattered showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure in the higher levels. Your marine conditions for tonight, we're expecting winds of 5 to 15 knots out of the west and northwest with choppy sea conditions. Winds will gradually decrease tomorrow and tomorrow night, with seas becoming light chop to slight. In terms of our astronomical conditions, there'll be a high tide at 34 minutes after midnight, a low at 8:21 tomorrow morning, another high at 2:44 tomorrow afternoon, and a low at 7:17 tomorrow night. If you're able to get up early tomorrow morning and want to catch the sunrise, it will be at 5:43, while the sun will set at 5:41 tomorrow evening. Moonrise will be at 9 minutes after 11 tomorrow morning, and the moon will set at 10:22 tomorrow night. And that's it from the National Meteorological Service. Join us again on Monday for another weather report and forecast. I am Ronald Gordon.
Safe, welcoming, the start of a new chapter. Your home is one of life's biggest investments. Let's protect it. Have you made any recent additions to your property? If so, your home may not be adequately insured. The average clause states that if the amount insured is less than the cost to rebuild, you, the insured, will become your own insurer for the additional amount. To better understand this, let's look at two homes equally valued at $150,000. Home 1 was insured for $150,000, but later, an additional $50,000 was invested into the home. This means that the home is now inadequately insured for only 75% of its value. Home 2 was insured for $150,000 3 years ago, and you haven't invested in any additions. However, inflation and the rising cost of building materials mean that rebuilding the same home today will cost $180,000. This means your home is inadequately insured for only 83% of its value. Therefore, if both homes suffer a $50,000 claim in damages, Home 1 will only be entitled to 75% of this claim, $37,500, and Home 2 will only be entitled to 83% of the claim, $41,500. To avoid this from happening to you, we invite all policyholders to call your Atlantic Insurance agent for guidance today. Being adequately insured gives you the peace of mind to focus on family and life's precious gifts. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
To my life, your house whenever. We ain't gonna live forever. We just wanna live while we're alive. Go to my life. My heart is open like a highway. Belize and say I did it my way. We just wanna live while we're alive. To my lights,
improving lives, delivering quality, water for you and me in Belize. BWS, we make it happen.
The process here at the Run Water Treatment Plant, it's a 24/7 process so that we can keep up with the daily demand for the consumers.
Belize Water Services test their public water systems for bacteriological quality, as well as various water quality parameters. When you turn on your tap, remember, there's a lot happening behind the scenes to ensure that the water you receive is safe and good for drinking.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Everything must come to an end. A much needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end. Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
The Minimum Wage Task Force is currently conducting public consultations to get feedback from the general public on the proposed $5 minimum wage increase. To date, meetings have been held in San Pedro Town, Orange Walk, Corozal, Belize City, and Belmopan, with one scheduled for tonight in San Ignacio Town. Reports are that only 9 persons turned up for the consultation in Belize City. San Pedro's turnout was also poor, according to reports. The task force is made up of members from various private and public sector partners, including the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Today we spoke with Marcelo Blake, the president of BCCI, about participation in these public discussions.
The second phase now entails the consultation that's happening in every district. So there are town halls that are set up to encourage the public to come in and provide their feedback into the process. The turnouts vary. So we had, as you know, Belize City wasn't as robust or far from it, but most of the other districts had fairly good turnout, and they had a wide cross-section of businesses that were present and sharing their feedback and opinions in regards to the minimum wage. Belize City, I would want to say it was the weather, because remember we had the whole Hurricane Ian. I don't even know if you want to call it a scare, but we had quite a bit of rains. And San Pedro, you'll have to look at where the minimum wage payment rates are out there. While there's a minimum wage at $3.30 in San Pedro, most of those businesses are paying at or above minimum wage. Really what you want is that persons to give their own individual experiences to inform the final decision. At the end of the day, those persons need to come forward, provide their info, fill out the survey, because there's a survey floating around as well, to be able to have those who are putting together the final recommendations be well informed and understand what it is that the impacts will be on individual businesses and individuals.
During the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech, he noted that the $5 minimum wage will be implemented in January 2023. But do the next 3 months give the Minimum Wage Task Force enough time to conclude its process? That is what we asked the president of BCCI.
Once that is completed, then there should be a review with the task force again of the overall findings before, I guess, the report is submitted to the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Labor, and all the other things that come behind that ministry's name.
Do you imagine, as the Prime Minister announced on Independence Day, that this in fact will be ready and implemented for January 2023?
I am hoping that that was just a part of the usual political spiel, and that in fact the government will allow for the process to be completed by the task force before that is actually rolled out.
You're telling me that January doesn't seem like enough time 3 months from now for that to happen?
It all depends on how it's rolled out, because at the end of the day, we've been advocating for a phased approach with a formula. And if that is the approach that's taken, then I think it can work. But the jump to a $5 directly from $3.30 is where there's going to be quite a bit of hesitation from the business community.
For the past 14 years, the Belize Central Prison has not had a visiting justice program to take concerns or complaints from inmates. But today, that program was reintroduced at the facility. Present for the brief ceremony were the Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, and his CEO, Kevin Arthurs, who spoke to what the program affords inmates. Danny Madrid, as Senior Justice of the Peace, explained that there are sufficient justices who have committed themselves to serving in the capacity as visiting justice among the other 2,000 JPs in the country.
It marks the accomplishment of another human rights commitment on our list of must-dos. It is with insistence that as a ministry, we take each task in this job not from the technical, nor the legal, nor the institutional perspective, but always always with a faithful focus on the human experience. But by concentrating on the individual prisoner, the Visiting Justice Program will make a special contribution towards treating the prisoner as a person and not an unforgivable mistake.
The Prison Act sets out the empowerment of the Visiting Justice Board, and it gives them deadlines and responsibilities and powers, which includes the ability to investigate, the ability to call up, to make reports. And so it's a very involved system that makes the prisoners feel, because, you know, we overlook, the minister said it today, part of what makes you human is the ability and the right to be heard and respected. And for this process, I think it will allow prisoners to feel as though they're people and not what their mistakes are. We want them to get back into the society. We need a healthy Belize, we need a happy Belize, and we think that this is part of the process of getting Belize whole and healthy again.
We have a lot of JPs who are committed and want to do this, because it's over 3,000 JPs right now, and it's growing because we're getting new membership, and we're getting people who are committed to the system now, people who wants to make a difference.
Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser explained that since magistrates are responsible for sending people to the central prison, they have a duty to ensure that the inmates are being held in a humane environment. Meanwhile, CEO Virgilia Maria of Colby Foundation, which manages the prison facility, told the media that the program should complement what the prison does to rehabilitate inmates. He said the prison already has oversight mechanisms in place, such as the Office of the Comptroller of Prisons, that take concerns and complaints of inmates.
We do have 4 government representatives as per the contract between Government of Belize and Colby Foundation, that is called the Board of Management. They are all CEOs, and one person that is a bit different from them is the Chief Magistrate. But we do have those government representatives who sits at board meetings when the Colby Foundation Board of Directors is meeting, to be there to hear what is being discussed in terms of reports and issues and those kinds of things. It is not any JP or any person with a JP title that can walk into the prison and say, hey, I'm a JP, I want to come and inspect your prison, or I want to come and listen to prisoners. That is not how it works. The person has got to be appointed, the JP has got to be appointed by the Minister and the Governor General of Belize.
I believe that it's also our responsibility as well to come and see the conditions under which persons come to the prison. I have long believed that, in fact, we should be coming here on a regular basis. Unfortunately, because of the level of work we have, it's kind of a little difficult. But now with the Visiting Justice and the program being put in place, at very least there is a magistrate which will be on every visit, every session, that the Visiting Justice will be here. So yesterday, for example, I was told by a female prisoner that, in fact, she was being dealt with by a male prisoner. I don't think that that should be the position. It means that she would have had an opportunity to speak to the Visiting Justice on the spot at the time, and that matter could have been addressed right away.
Customs brokers and clerks from countries that make up CARICOM are in Belize for their first ever Caribbean Association of Customs Brokers Conference. The event will take place on Saturday at the Best Western Belize Biltmore Plaza Hotel. President of the association, Delroy Fairweather, and customs broker from Suriname, Rostam Samander, briefed us on what they hope to take away from the event.
One of the other aspects of the conference that we're looking at is the actual difficulty to have people travel within the region. Like, for example, most of our folks had to travel through Miami, and of course we saw what happened this week. They ended up were stuck for a couple of days in Miami. Luckily, they could have gotten flights out. On the agenda, we have, basically we're looking at utilizing Jamaica as our regional hub for Belize especially, to start moving goods within the CARICOM. We have a contingent here from Jamaica, or a contingent from Jamaica, And we'll definitely explore options as to getting goods into Jamaica, and from there, these goods can actually start moving into the smaller islands without having to go through Miami and come back down to come back down into the Caribbean, which has an associated cost with it.
Not all the agreements within the CARICOM have been implemented as yet within our country, and we are looking forward because we would like to have all advantages. For example, ICT products. For some of the ICT products, you know, now it's the era for digitalized stuff. So things which are produced within the CARICOM coming to our country should be, there should be no barriers for having them imported.
The Mental Health Association of Belize commends the Belize Defense Force for displaying a change of the overall attitude in effectively dealing with suicide prevention within its ranks. In a press release, the association points to the BDF's Chief of Staff, Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns, that is, who it says displayed a deep understanding of how vulnerable the security forces are to suicidal ideation. It also lauds the BDF for immediately taking appropriate steps to support the soldiers who are experiencing suicidal ideation and to offer comfort to survivors and fellow officers. Founding member of the Mental Health Association, Kathy Esquivel, told News 5 that the immediate show of support, counseling, and therapy offered to the soldiers is an indication that Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns has a clear understanding of suicide and how to deal with it among the soldiers.
We were pleased to note that Lieutenant Colonel Burns, he displayed that he'd obviously done some research, he'd spoken to professionals, and he seemed to have a good layperson's understanding. And that's really important because you can't begin to solve a problem until you understand a little bit about what it is. Now, the security forces are always under a lot of strain, and they're very often away from their families, and this causes family issues. Sometimes they're in stressful situations. And so actually suicide worldwide is, security forces actually have a relatively high level of suicidal ideation and completion or attempts. And so it's good that the BDF is recognizing this and that they're seeking professional help, and that they recognize also that the survivors, both the family survivors and fellow officers, this is very difficult for them to deal with, and so they're looking into getting professional grief counseling. So really the Mental Health Association just wanted to congratulate them.
When we return, Belize High School robotics team heading to Geneva for first global competition.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent, free and independent to be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent. We're changing our country, we're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire SMART family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. SMART, bringing people together.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Minister of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, Andre Perez, is heading a delegation from his ministry to the 41st International Civil Aviation Organization Assembly in Montreal, Canada. Minister Perez and his team met with Dr. Amy Kaur, the Senior Minister of State in the Ministry of Transport, Sustainability, and the Environment of Singapore. According to a release, a central topic was Singapore's support for the development of the Belize Airport Hub City and that country's continued support for capacity building for the technical staff of the Belize Department of Civil Aviation. Late this afternoon and in between meetings, Minister Perez gave the media some comments on the sessions.
We're here basically to as usual, assembly, where we're holding bilateral talks with different countries as we seek to increase the aviation industry by enforcing and having this plan for the next 5 years. And we're saying that we are telling our partners here who I'm speaking with that we're open for business. We want to expand the air cargo hub concept that we have. And this is the right place where we need to be to reach out to people that we have already arranged the talks that is ongoing. And today was very, very fruitful. Two countries that stand out that we have something in common with them is as it relates to the strategic location that they are, and they have taken advantage of that, is Singapore and Taiwan. Singapore is a small country, yet the movement of cargo and the amount of passengers they move is incredible, simply because they have learned to use their strategic location and capitalize on it. Another country that serves as well as an air cargo hub and is strategically located is Taiwan as well. Now, Belize is strategically located in Central America and the Caribbean. So we are talking about using that. They are telling us, even senior people in ICAO are telling us, Belize, you are right there. It's your moment. It's time for you to push. It's time for you to come up with this concept. And this is where we have started. It's a long term. It's not for me to be sitting here to say, I want to get re-elected in the next 2-3 years. This is a long term of 15, 20 years. It's starting now to plant that seed of growth.
Minister Perez, who is joined by CEO Kennedy Carrillo and others from the Civil Aviation Department, also met with Minister of Transport of Qatar, Jassim bin Saif bin Ahmed Al Sulaiti, to discuss support for the Belize Airport Hub concept as well as a feasibility study and transition plan for the devolution of the Belize Department of Civil Aviation to a Civil Aviation Authority. The meeting concluded with the signing of an air services agreement to facilitate air transport activities between the two countries. At the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, the Belize Red Cross is preparing its volunteers for emergency response. Over the last month, the Belize Red Cross has been hosting a series of trainings for lead volunteers across the country, teaching them the basics of interacting with the media and preparing other volunteers to serve their communities. Today, we spoke with Monica Heredia, the Volunteer and Youth Development Manager at the Belize Red Cross, about these important sessions.
So we have different opinions.
This training is a series of training for the Caribbean Prepared Project, which is having volunteers ready and prepared for any disaster, emergency, or crisis. So 2 weeks ago, we had a training on communications and talking to the media to have the volunteers ready to speak to the public on what the efforts of the Belize Red Cross is. And today they're working on training these people to work with volunteers in emergencies. So every time we have an emergency anywhere in Belize, we have an influx of last-minute volunteers, which is great. We love having people help the Belize Red Cross, but they're not trained the way our volunteers are trained. So we are training the people that lead the branches to work with these volunteers. All of them, they're experts in their communities because they're a part of their communities. So when we train them, we know that that community is trained in first aid. They have national intervention team members who can do anything from search and rescue to water and sanitation. And so the importance of these trainings and having these people ready in their communities is so that anything that happens there, we have people on the ground ready.
Belize High School was established in 2010 and since then has been leading the charge in robotics, as its students have been representing Belize internationally at a host of international robotics competitions. Next month, from October 14th to the 16th, a team of 5 students will be traveling to Geneva, Switzerland for a first global competition. They had to build a robot from scratch to execute several instructions. As News 5's Dwayne Moody finds out, the competition is not about winning, but more about the participants from across the country seeing how this area of study can be integrated into everyday life. Here's a report.
This competition is not just about robotics, but it's also about gathering the youths around the world and finding a global solution to solve our issues that's harming our Earth. This year, we're focusing on a theme called carbon capture, which deals with the greenhouse gases and what we can do to reduce climate change.
There will be 6 different countries playing on the game field at a time. They'll be split into 2 different alliances, and in working together, they will try to earn more points on the other.
One of the most important and vital aspects that we are bringing to that competition is, as you can see on my shirt, the Belizean spirit. We're there proud to represent Belize, to share our friendliness, our liveliness, our vibrancy, and we're also there to represent all the other cultures and things that Belize represents.
Teams from over 180 countries will converge in Geneva, Switzerland in mid-October for the first global competition, which will focus on innovation and engineering. The goal is to get the robot to pick up carbon balls and deposit them.
The main goal of this competition is not to compete against each other, but rather work together through cooperation to solve our global problems. This is why we, Team Belize, are looking forward to see all the ways that our countries built their robots, because we all got the same parts and kits, but each robot will be different on the game field.
This has to do a lot with presentation, public speaking, creativity, engineering, technology, mathematics. So when these kits arrive in all the countries that are participating, it's literally a box of parts. It's a bill of materials that we clear out of customs. What then has to happen is that this Belizean innovativeness has to get cultured by our mentors so that these students can look at what strategies they want to do when they get the game and then figure out what robot they will do to match the game. With robotics, it really locks you in because the skills that your robot knows is the skills that you told it or that you programmed it to learn. And so when these students from all over the world show up, it really is a phenomenal experience to be able to witness all the different types of robots, all the ways that they got the robot to do the task, because besides a few restrictions and limitations in terms of size, these students really had a nice blank carte blanche, so that they could plan how they want to accomplish a task. And the fact that it's about carbon capture is really an excellent method that the First Global Foundation put together.
It has taken these students many long hours working after classes and even on weekends to put the pieces together to ensure that the robot does exactly what it is supposed to do. They are guided by IT Director Godfrey Sosa, who says that the team stands ready to participate internationally.
We have ramped up a very excellent IT curriculum that encompasses programming, and for me personally, I take that very dear because I do think that programming is the way to go. So at an early start, we introduced them to as much as the programming, the IT, all of the foundationals that are involved in actually being able to partake in competitions such as these. So we start off with foundationals such as algorithm and design. We then move on into introductory programming languages. We then move on into intermediate and all the way up to advanced. So I can attest that these 5 students, as you see here, are the best of the best when it comes to programming.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Just ahead on the bright side, an 11-year-old Belizean MMA fighter.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
V-Bucks by Belize, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Belize account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Belize location or at any of these Belize entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Belize, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen Broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen Broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
This week, Sabrina wraps up her look on the bright side through patriotism. She met a young aspiring wrestler that's making waves in her discipline as young as 11 years old. Alexa Smith is a winning MMA fighter, but she wants the world to know first and foremost that she is Belizean to the bone.
This is Alexa Smith, a typical 11-year-old kid. Her hobbies are cooking, baking for her dad, editing videos, and dancing. She was born and raised in the United States, but shares Belizean roots from her father, Aaron Smith, originally from Orange Walk District. Alexa is also an MMA fighter.
Get your head out of there! I don't want your head there, Alexa!
I do Muay Thai, I do Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. And for wrestling, I'm actually a two-time state champ, freestyle and folk style. And for Jiu-Jitsu, I recently won this belt like 2-3 weeks ago. I won this belt and it was really exciting because I've always wanted to win it and I was like, I finally won it.
Her dad, Aaron Smith, was the first Belizean to win the IBJJF World Championship in 2019, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament. He fought professionally as a grappler, but now focuses his energy on his daughter. Alexa, the Belizean lioness, is her stage name. She trains 6 days a week, and when competing, skips out on tortillas.
And last but not least, you have to move your leg, or else when I'm trying, I'm stopping myself. And then sometimes I train in my garage in the morning after school, and I would just like work on my stuff. And sometimes even with my brother, we work on like our moves. So in the evening when we go train, we can work on those, like while we spar or something like that, or just asking questions if we messed up in the morning. When there's a tournament around, I try to just eat like healthy and like in the mornings it'll just be like eggs and beans and fruit. And then like in the evening, chicken, beans. So like everything's like protein and like nothing like tortillas or like, which I miss, but it's actually worth it at the end because I had to make weight and look at all the things that I've won.
And winning matches is not the only thing that motivates the young wrestler. Alexa feels connected to her Belizean heritage. Aside from her moniker, she has branded herself with symbols of Belize and even hopes to come home to interact with other youth to share messages of inspiration.
First, it started off with just the lioness, but I was like, so I want to add in my Belizean roots. So we were like, we should just like make it the Belizean lioness, so we can like, so I can add my roots into there and like, so I can show everyone that I'm from Belize and I'm not like afraid to show it. Yeah, it has Belize right here, and then it has, this is a jaguar right here, and then in the back I have a toucan. Yeah, so this is what I wear to compete, so I can show off. I want to go over there so I can like so I can tell them that anything's possible, and I kind of like want to show them like don't be afraid to try something new. Maybe you'll like it, but you never know if you don't try it. And I want to inspire them so I can show them like don't be afraid. Just try something new, you know? I name Alexa the Belizean lioness, looking from the bright side.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.